Hello. Yay, I didn't get the spinning wheel of foreverness this time. How are you guys? Welcome to the Wednesday Live. I just have to be very upfront. I have all three of my kids home. Today was the last day of school, so they're all here, and I'm kind of expecting the worst because I just had to tell them all to go upstairs. And I can hear them running, so wish me luck. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. I thought I would start by just sharing that today I actually really had to kind of white knuckle through my fast. That does not happen very often. And I think part of it was I was kind of stressed today. I helped organize a ice cream social for my daughter's fourth grade class and another fourth grade class. And then they have kindergarten buddies. So like the fourth graders are paired with a kindergartner. And it was their end of year celebration. And I got to the school early and had all the toppings. I shopped for it and I love doing that kind of stuff. But hey Leanne. But it was stressful just trying to time like scooping 60 bowls of ice cream, but not scooping too early and then moving it to the classroom. And then I had my younger son with me. And I think just stress made me kind of want to open my eating window. And then, of course, ice cream and all the toppings. And I was feeling so hungry. And I thought, oh, my timer must be up almost soon. But it was at 16 hours and minutes. And I always get at least 18 hours. And then when we got home, I made the kids lunch and I was still fasting. And sorry, I see your comment. I'll address that in just a second. And then I did dishes and finally I was like, I am opening my window. I could not shake the hunger. So today I opened my window at 19 hours and I ate a pretty large snack. It was like leftover cheese and meats that I cut up for dinner last night and olives and pickles and pepitas. And I'm still eating a full dinner, but I was so hungry and that never happens. So, well, it rarely happens. So today I just felt extremely hungry and I ate a lot more than I ever planned on eating today. So, oh well, I will enjoy my dinner still and I will fast tomorrow. But you guys ask, what do I do when I feel hungry? One, I just kept going until I hit the 18 hours. And then I really had to fight the last hour to do the dishes, make my kids lunch. I took care of a lot of things that I knew would make me feel good getting them off my checklist. And then finally I was like, okay, 19 hours. And I literally watched the last minute tick down. And at 19 hours, I did it. So you haven't gotten an email regarding the podcast yet. So you must have emailed me. I am sorry if I'm guessing Pink Motivation isn't your name on the email. Every once in a while, emails come to me and they're spammed for whatever reason. I have had that happen with sponsors and even people that email me. My Gmail flags it as spam and I don't find it. So I'll look in my spam folder. I'm sorry. Anyone that I have seen, I respond to them that I put them in the list and I categorize them and I have a running list. I haven't done anything. I haven't started scheduling anything. I'm just building a list of people to contact once I know what I'm doing, but I'm sorry. I will look for an email. I have not purposely ignored anyone. Hello, everybody. I see lots of highs. And then after a down day, what time do I open my window the next day? So I have a goal and it rarely happens, but in a perfect world on a down day, I would eat lunch on my down day. And then in a perfect world, I would fast until lunch the next day and get 24 hours. That is my goal. It very, very rarely happens to where my day I'm actually able to eat at 11:30 and then I fast until 11:30 the next day. So I usually eat a lunch. Most often it's a late lunch, early dinner, and then I fast until lunch the next day. And then those times are really dictated by what's going on the following day. But I do, because personally for me, it's important, make sure I get at least 18 hours in between my down day meal and my up day. But it's almost always probably close to 22 hours is pretty close. But in a perfect world, I like to get 24 hours. I just like that I have that much longer after the down day. And then I would eat, if it were a perfect world, lunch, snack, dinner, snack, and that would be my up day. Can I talk about appetite correction? So I feel like I don't know. I'm trying to see. I have a pile of books over there. I've read Dr. Herring's appetite correction book, and he talks about fasting is a big thing that can help with that. I still feel like I have a very large appetite, but the longer I fast, the more I'm able to just kind of decide like between true hunger and I'm trying to think of limbic hunger might be what he called it, but that might be the good one. I don't know. Basically where you're doing it like out of boredom, habitual, not true hunger. And I feel like the longer I fast and the more that I do just other things to get through like initial thoughts of hunger, the more I realize that I'm not actually hungry often. And then by fasting so much and having meals that I really enjoy, the longer I do that, the more I'm able to know when I'm not enjoying a meal anymore. And like an example of that yesterday, my mother-in-law had sent home a piece of cake and it was really good. But at the very end, I just had like this sliver and I just was like, I know that cake was really good. I know I'd enjoyed the last 2 bites, but I just simply didn't eat it because I just kind of hit the, like, I'm full enough, I'm very satisfied point. And I can tell you before fasting or even a year ago, I wouldn't have done that. And I just feel like, I don't know scientifically how to explain appetite correction, obviously. And I know that's not what you're saying, but I just feel like the more I exercise fasting and the more I really enjoy what I'm eating in my eating window, the more that I'm able to see when I'm not enjoying what I'm eating and choosing not to do that. So if I opened a bag of Pirates Booty the other day, my kids have that, and I gave it to my son and I had a piece and I was just like, oh, that's not good. And normally or previously had I opened that and I would have just ate maybe like because it was there and because it was available. And now if I try something that's just not good, I'm like, it's not worth eating. And I'm able to say no without feeling deprived. And I feel like that's all part of appetite correction. So that's kind of been my experience. Jonas, yes, I am starting a podcast and I want it to be focused on like food freedom and finding freedom in choices and just enjoying the flexibility of fasting. That's my goal. If you would like to be on it, email me. I'll put something in the community tab about it eventually. Chloe Bug, how often should you do a down day? You're never hungry anymore. I'm definitely not eating enough. I'm losing weight. Okay, so I definitely think if you know you're not eating enough, you need to address that. It sounds like you want to. I've never had that issue of not eating enough. I eat a lot and I've never had that issue. But so I'm wondering, are you doing too many down days followed by up days, do you think? Are you not keeping your up days open long enough? I only do one down day a week, and then I do one up day a week, and then the rest of my other 5 days a week are OMAD. And I don't mean like every Monday. I just mean in any Sunday to Saturday period, there's one down day. So it might be Thursday one week and then Sunday the next day, if that makes sense. But it's just one in that week period. But you definitely want to make sure you're eating enough. And someone's comment disappeared here. And that might, like for you, that might mean having longer eating windows. I personally eat a lot in a short period of time, but if you need more time, give yourself longer time to do that. That's really important. I have a question. Can how you look in the mirror influence how you fast or how you eat? I don't really. I still deal with like mental blocks sometimes of how I look in the mirror. Sometimes I swear I look in the mirror and I feel like I have never lost any weight. And I think that's just, if you have a diet like background, it's probably something that I'll deal with for a long time. I've always lost and gained, lost and gained, lost and gained. So sometimes I look in the mirror and I'm like, am I back to where I was before I started intermittent fasting? And I know that's not true logically, but it does sometimes make me feel like defeated, but it's quickly passes. And I don't really think it impacts how I fast because I I just keep my same rules, 18 hours, and then I kind of go with the day. Maybe subconsciously it influences it, but I don't feel like it does. Normally once I put clothes on, I feel better, just to be totally frank. Like once I have clothes on, I feel a lot better about myself, but sometimes it's just like, and all your self-conscious thoughts just flood your mind. But I don't feel like I go on a day-by-day basis of like, oh, I didn't like the reflection, I'm not going to eat today. I don't have those thoughts. Hello from New Hampshire, Jackie to Jackie. Hi from California. You might be emotionally hungry. Okay, so that is something that I have always like had issues with, where I feel bad, I want to eat to feel good. I feel good, I want to celebrate to eat. And I still like celebrating with food. But when I like feel upset and I want to eat, I just saw a TikTok on this and I want to make a full-blown video using this TikTok. I've saved it somewhere. But the girl, it was talking about habits, and I mentioned this on a previous live, but I think it's worth repeating. She talked about if you know you're an emotional eater and you have these patterns of like, I feel bad, let me go grab Ben and Jerry, we'll work it out together. Recognize the pattern, recognize what you're about to do, and then replace it with something else. But don't replace it with something that you don't like to do. So my answer wouldn't be, okay, I want to eat, I'm going to go lift weights. Because guess what? I don't like to lift weights. My answer would be, okay, I am recognizing that I'm feeling emotional and I want to go eat. Instead, I'm going to go read a book. I love reading books. I'm going to listen to a podcast. Love listening to podcasts. I'm going to go sit out on the back porch. Love doing that. I'm going to go on a walk. So you have to retrain your brain. Our brains are so powerful that habits are strong, but we're also able to change our habits, and you have to be extremely intentional. But she was just talking about you can change the cycle, because when you start to feel bad and then you constantly do something else that you like, you're going to train yourself to do that. And I just thought it was a really powerful, like 60-second TikTok that I just wanted the world to hear. But I want to like share that in a context of intermittent fasting. But if you recognize the habit, that's what I would do, is find something else that you really love. And anytime you think you're about to eat, be like, I'm going to send my best friend a GIF or GIF, I don't know which one, and make her laugh. Like, I think it's fun to send goofy GIFs to friends. And if every time I want to eat emotionally and I did something like that and made myself giggle instead, that's going to be your new habit. And I know that was like a silly example, but it's something really quick that you can do. And like pretty much anywhere, send a text to someone. Just replace that thought over and over again with the same thing that makes you happy, and you're going to change your habits. I know it's easier said than done, but I like the idea. Fellow Michigander, hello. Thank you so much. I appreciate the kudos, and hello from the West Side. Hello from Florida. Taste buds change. Yes, that is 100% true. And at first I thought that was a tulip, but now I see it's a tongue. I have 100%, well, not 100%. I still eat a lot of things that I wouldn't mind not enjoying as much, but I don't like a lot of processed cakes anymore, or super powdery chips that I used to love. I don't like. Taste buds definitely change. And the further I fast, the more I see certain things falling off. I wouldn't mind not liking sugar as much, but I do still love sugar. Let's see. Huge boredom appetite. Yes. And I think that is, you love to eat, but you tend to be restrictive because you're afraid you'll go out of control. That, for me personally, and I know this doesn't work the same way, for me, time is so concrete that I can stay within the bounds of time. And that's why I love intermittent fasting, is because I can deal with like, I'm either eating or not eating much better than I can deal with how much did I have enough. And then that just plays with my emotions more. And I think a lot of people find the same benefit. Down days are easy, but I think I'm not eating enough on the up days. Yeah, that if you're dealing with the diet brain, I don't really know exactly like how to push through that, because I know sometimes I've had like thoughts of like, oh, I probably should eat this, but it doesn't stop me, because I have read the books and I've read that overeating on occasion can help like stimulate your appetite or keep it running at full speed, especially when you were like the down and then the up. And I think I'm someone that's like, okay, you tell me it's true. I'm going to believe you. I trust you as a source and I'll do it. And I've seen a lot of success with it. So it's also one of those things that when I have days where I overeat, it doesn't always feel the best. So that I'm less likely to do that over and over and over again for days upon days upon days. So like days like today, I'm going to be really stuffed. I know I am because I opened my window with so much and it's going to be a longer window. I won't be tempted to do the same thing tomorrow, but I'm also not going to beat myself up about it because I felt quite hungry earlier and I knew I'd feel better. I feel much better now that I ate. And, but I definitely think getting over a diet brain on an up day could be a challenge, but I just encourage you to like make yourself have an 8-hour window if it takes that. Even if you're not eating, obviously the entire 8 hours, promise yourself I'm going to eat at noon and I will take a bite at 8 p.m. So then you're less likely to be like, oh, it's 4 p.m. I'm going to close it now because I feel stuffed. If you like make a commitment in the same way that you are to the fast, make a commitment to yourself on the up day, even if it's just having, a peanut butter lollipop, a spoonful of peanut butter, like make yourself have the longer up day. And then that might give you a little more freedom to enjoy a little bit more throughout the time. If you know, no matter what, you're taking a bite 8 hours later, maybe you'll slowly get over that diet brain. Okay. Oh, thank you. Everyone always loves my skin. I think part of it is a bad camera, but I use Supergoop Glow. It's a tinted moisturizer and I love it. And people always comment on my skin, but thank you. Up days and down days. Oh, another skin comment. Thanks again. Up days and down days. I just did a video on it this past weekend because I get this question a lot, but I'm going to give you a very short synopsis. So first off, ignore 5 out of the 7 days a week because I'm telling you how I do it. You could implement it more than what I do. But 5 days a week, I do OMAD where I just eat dinner for the most part. Then 2 days a week, I have 1 down day and 1 up day. So those are the other 2 days. The down day, you can either not eat anything. So down is like, think of like you're eating a low amount. So you either eat nothing up to a 500 calorie meal. And I tend to do more of the 500 calorie meals. And the way to think of it is it's like if you do the 500 calorie meal, you're not having a full day fast, but it's like just a little bit of an aid to get you from one fast through the other. So it breaks your fast. It gives you the mental enjoyment of having a meal and it fills you up a little bit more. And that gives you a little bit of push to finish before your up day. So it's like a small meal in between 2 fasts. And then the up day, because you restricted and you had so little to eat on the down day, you eat more. So it's kind of a cycle. You eat less and then you purposefully eat more. And on the up day, I follow Jen Stevens' advice from Fast Feast Repeat, where she suggests having at least 2 meals and at least a 6-hour eating window. And so for me personally, that means I usually open my window with lunch. And then I'll snack, I'll have dinner, and then I usually have a snack after dinner as well. So I'm certainly eating more than I normally would the rest of the week. And that there's a few benefits. When you have a down day, you are increasing your ability to have autophagy, whether you eat 0 calories or 500 calories. Autophagy is when your body is burning and eating its own cells, like it eats your dead cells, the junk, it recycles them. And when you're in longer states of fasting, you reap more benefits to that. And there's a lot of benefits to autophagy. Also, you are not going to get your body in a rhythm of, okay, Jackie eats 22 hours, fast 22 hours a day and eats the same 2 hours. If it gets in a rhythm and it becomes a pattern, my body's just going to know when it's ready for food and it's not going to tap into fat stores. It's just going to kind of sit and wait for the food. It gets kind of in a rhythm. And to keep it from getting in the rut of waiting for food from 2 to 4 every day, when you have a variety of schedules, your body's never really going to know what to expect. but it's also not going to think it's starving. If you have the down day and then you refeed, it's going to know that you're feeding it. And so your body will be guessing. It'll keep the engine revved, but it's not going to feel like it's starving. So there's a lot of benefits. I did a longer video on this weekend, but I found it was very helpful in my weight loss journey, and I still do it because I like having the up day. I like having down days on really busy days. And then I also feel like it helps me maintain my weight loss as well. Let's see here. Hello, you caught me live. Hello from Minneapolis. Sometimes I feel like I haven't lost anything. That's a hard thing. And I'm guessing you probably have, but I think it's just my many, many years of dieting where I suddenly just feel like I lost it all. And it's not even from an action. It's just like I get out of the shower and I'm like, ugh. I don't know. I wish I never felt that way, but I do sometimes. You've been intermittent fasting since January 2020. Nice. Awesome. I'm curious, what made you, so you started with Delay, Don't Deny, and you haven't read Fast Feast Repeat yet. That's awesome. Yeah. Fast Feast Repeat came out about 2 weeks before I started, and it actually came out on my birthday. My birthday's next week. It came out on June 16th, and I just joke, it feels like it was a gift to me. It really was. But I read Fast Feast Repeat first. Obviously, you guys have all heard me talk about that. And then I read Delay, Don't Deny, and I love them both and have them both in my personal library. I used to do keto, lost weight and gained it all back, plus more. Okay, so first off, I can't say if you should do that. Obviously, in my video this weekend is all about, I did keto and if for 4 weeks together I'm trying to think, like late October through late November. I did 4 weeks of keto, 20 net carbs, and I had been at a plateau for about a year, and I did lose 10 pounds, and it was really pretty easy. It just fell off. And I actually felt really good on keto physically. I just hated making a meal separate from my family. I hated all the planning and the work that went into maintaining keto. And then I, of course, missed carbs, but it was very effective. And so people kept telling me to try keto as a way to break the plateau in comments, and not in a bossy way, but just as a suggestion. And it really was effective. So if you like keto and you feel like carbs for you, it could be highly effective. I personally really missed carbs the entire time. I love carbs, and I open heart accepted them back into my life. And so Saturday's video is all about, I get asked frequently, have I gained the weight back? And I'll just tell you guys, I was 143.2 at a month after I did keto, which was not gaining any more weight back. And then just last week, I was 148. So I'm 5 pounds heavier than I was when I stopped doing keto. But I'd rather be 5 pounds heavier and have carbs in my life. So I think it's a balance of what works for you. But I definitely think keto with intermittent fasting was effective. If that's what works for you, go ahead and give it a whirl. I have no medical knowledge, obviously, to tell you if that's good for you or not, but my keto trial, it was very effective for weight loss. I do not know Dr. Panda. Okay, so you're asking if I think switching windows gives results. I personally think so. I've read that having the same window every day kind of gets, like, your body can get used to it. So if my body knows, hey, at 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock, Jackie eats every day, my body is going to adjust and adapt to that. And instead of, if it feels hungry a little earlier, tapping into fat stores for fuel, it might just wait. I'm not a scientist. I've done no experimenting, and I have seen great results having a varied window. And I have never read or heard anything from Dr. Panda, so I don't have anything to retort what he's saying or she's saying. I'm not sure. Or he said, okay. But from different things that I've read, I've seen that other people suggest having different windows, and it's worked well for me. It's so hard for me to say fasting. I've never taken ketones, if that's what you mean. I have no experience with taking artificial ketones. I think, so I'm trying to think. So when I did the keto trial, I was taking my blood levels every day, testing my ketones, and fasting with keto is an extremely great way to get your ketone level high. But I've never tried it. I'm not super into like supplements and knowing that I can make my own ketones. I just think that really building your fasting muscle is very effective. It just takes some getting used to, and I think probably harder for some than others. But I'm sorry, I have no knowledge on actually taking ketones. Dawn, you are correct. I fast a minimum of 18 hours every day, though. So the 5 days a week, I just generally eat dinner, and sometimes I'll have a little snack before and a little snack after, but it's always 18 hours in between every fast. On my down day, before I have my small meal, I fast at least 18 hours. And then after I eat that small meal, or if I don't fast, obviously fast has continued, so it's going to be longer than 18 hours. If I don't eat, I mean, but then even between my 500 calorie meal and my up day, I do make sure I fast at least 18 hours. So every day I fast at least 18. But yes, that's for me personally. I don't think everyone has to do that, but I eat a lot in a short amount of time. So I need a lot of fasting in between. Thank you, Ahmed, for the encouragement. That's really kind of you. Yes, I like what Jenny said. If you like doing keto, I think it is definitely an effective thing to do. And yeah, it depends on if you like doing it or not. Great insight, Jenny. I do not use apple cider vinegar. If you have a suggestion of what I should do, let me know. I'm not opposed to trying different things, and I have it on hand. The only thing I've ever done apple cider vinegar for, I don't know if anyone's ever had this issue. My forehead used to be like a patch of pimples, like the smallest little pimples you'd ever see. So even now you wouldn't have been able to see them. But after I wash my face every night, I started on a cotton ball putting apple cider vinegar on it, like a very small amount. It was slightly diluted. It went away. I had read that it was amazing to do that, and it did, and it's never come back. And I still don't use it every day, but that's my only experience with apple cider vinegar. And for that reason, I think it's a miracle worker. Can an update be 24 if you eat enough? I personally think it probably could, but I have nothing to support that other than knowing that I can eat a lot. But I also have 4-hour eating windows, not as an update. So I extend them longer because I almost never have a 6 or 8 hour eating window unless it's an up day. And for that reason, I just push it to be more than what I normally would. And days like today, my eating window is going to be about 4.5 hours, and it's not my up day. So I do an up day more than I ever would on my other 5 OMAD days. But I think you probably could get away with it if you eat enough. But I wouldn't do it if you're just trying to close your window to get back into fasting. Like, make sure you eat enough. And I really don't have like data to back that up. So proceed with caution. When I did keto before, yes, I loved it. Okay. Good for you wanting more healthier foods. I definitely agree. As I've been trying to eat more protein to open my window, one of the things I had to open my window today was cheese and pepitas. I am craving pepitas so much now. It is amazing to me. I've always liked them, but I usually just put them on salads or on top of cottage cheese. But as I'm like opening my window with it, knowing that it's really high in protein, I'm craving that. And I'm like, yay, I'm craving pepitas instead of something junky. And like I said, I eat junk. I'm not shaming anyone that eats junk, but I would much prefer to crave pepitas, something high protein and still good for me, than junk food. So the longer I go, the more I'm noticing that as well. Alcohol makes me eat more and hungrier. Me too. That is something I had mentioned in my is drinking allowed in intermittent fasting? And the answer for me, of course, was yes. I don't limit anything or I don't exclude anything. I do have limits on alcohol, but that was before I was a faster. But I definitely think that you have to take into account how your behaviors change if you're drinking alcohol, because I definitely am hungrier and I snack more and I feel hungry the next day if I drink. Definitely something to be mindful of. What motivated me to start fasting? Good question, Felix. So I started fasting. My first exposure to it ever was through my church. We do like a spiritual fast at the beginning of every year. And I didn't do intermittent fasting like as a weight loss tool. I actually gained 9 pounds the first time I ever did it, but I was eating from noon to 6. I was still breastfeeding my son. So I didn't want to, I've done like more extreme, like the Daniel fast or Whole30 or just different fasts through church. And I didn't want to cut out like different foods that I was eating because I was breastfeeding. So I decided to just do noon to 6. Because my son was also eating table food at the time. I didn't feel like it was a problem for me to limit what I was eating, but I gained 9 pounds and it wasn't a weight loss thing. But I remember feeling like it's kind of amazing how easy it is to only eat 6 hours a day. I adjusted to it, but as soon as the church fast was done, I just stopped. And then I was really struggling with my weight in 2020 and the pandemic didn't help. We were baking and doing a lot and I was gaining weight, and my middle child had just had a surgery, and emotionally I gained a lot of weight from eating. That always happens. So I remember telling my friend that I was going to look into intermittent fasting, just recalling that I remember adjusting to it with my church and just thinking, hey, I know some people do this as a diet. Maybe I'll look into it. Well, I never did it on my own. And she told me about Fast, Feast, Repeat. A couple of weeks later, she had started looking into fasting and found the book. So then she's like, Jackie, you love data. You need to read this book. I think it will help you on your fasting, like getting started. And she was right. So I read the book and I loved it. And then I immediately started reading more and more and more literature and became obsessed. And it was so effective for me that I just haven't looked back. And I love that I get to eat foods that I like every day. My eating window every day varies. I don't keep track of it. My fasting time is average at 22 and a half hours since I started fasting. So if you take that from 24 hours, I'm left with an hour and a half eating window. Wait, is that right? It might be 21 and a half hours is my fasting average, and then 2.5 is my eating average. The only thing that I track is 18 hours, and I make sure I get 18 hours. It's almost always more than 18 hours. And then I don't track my eating window. So I don't really know. It's like the last 3 days probably have been less than an hour eating window every day. And then I eat a lot and close my window, and then I fast on. Yeah, I don't do pretty close to 18.6 though. It's probably most closely aligned with 22.2. Don't really track the eating window. I like having some 15-minute windows and then some 5-hour windows. What am I doing wrong? 16.8, good diet, ACV, and cannot lose an ounce. I would think 16.8 is like a really good starting point to learn how to fast, but maybe not weight loss. If I were you, I would maybe if you're tied to 16.8, maybe throw in a complete down day once a week. So you'd have 5 days of 16.8, 1 day where you don't eat, or do the 500 calorie, and then an up day. That's personally what I would try. Or I don't know if you clean fast. So clean fasting is something I learned through Jen Stevens, where you're not having, you say ACV, are you putting apple cider vinegar in your water? I would stop doing that during your fasting. Just have plain water, plain coffee, plain like black or green tea, no flavorings, no creamer, nothing. I would do that. And I would also look to increase how much you're fasting. That would be my suggestion. But I am only going off my personal experience and all the books I read. I have no medical or nutritional or dietary training. I just need to be clear about that. But 16-8, I personally would never lose weight, only fasting 16 hours. I can eat way too much. But I wouldn't classify myself as having the best diet either. Congrats on doing well with OMAD and slowly losing your weight. I would not have butter. If you're saying you do that as a bridge in your gap, and I started from the beginning having only water, coffee, and then in theory tea. I don't drink tea though, coffee and water. And this is another thing I need to make a video on, but it's something that makes me afraid because I'm one person and my data is one person's data. So when I was doing the keto test, one thing I tested because I was taking my blood draw every single day is I started to drink Diet Coke or flavored water or I can't remember, chewing gum, having mints, and I would take my blood test an hour later and see if my ketone level dropped. Almost never did my ketone levels drop. It didn't matter if I had flavored coffee, flavored water, and I'm not talking like butter. I'm not talking cream. I'm talking flavorings. So Diet Coke, nothing changed my ketone level. If anything, the ketone level got higher an hour later. However, like without a doubt, it made me hungry. My body thought I was eating. So then that made it really a struggle to keep fasting. And so clean fasting without the butter, without the cream, without flavorings, it may not break your fast or it may not like drop your ketosis level. And by blood, I did not see a ketosis drop. However, again, that's not butter, that's not cream. It made me feel hungrier, and I have a much better time fasting when I don't feel hungry and just can kind of breeze through it. And I feel like potentially, I don't know what you think. Does butter, you say it helps, but do you think it makes you feel hungrier in the long run? I don't know. I personally wouldn't do it, and I probably won't experiment to find out if it is all right with me. But so do you just like eat butter with salt on it? My sister used to do that as a little kid. Hello from Germany. Thank you so much for the kind words. Okay, low carb suggestion. I love seeing you guys chat with each other. Okay, so this is maybe an unpopular thought of mine. So flying high, you're at maintenance and you love keto coffee and you don't want to lose any weight. I wouldn't feel bad. If it works for you and you're able to maintain, like you worked hard to get at a point you feel comfortable, enjoy it. If you like keto coffee, do it. Like, honestly, I wouldn't even feel bad about it. I would just allow yourself that. And then if you notice that you're no longer at maintenance or your goals are slipping away, make adjustments. But allow yourself the joy of what you enjoy, the keto coffee, and like free yourself of the idea of dirty fasting. So, and I've heard Jen Stevens even say this. So she was a dirty faster when she lost all of her weight. And then she noticed the huge difference in how she felt when she stopped having the dirty fasting. Well, if you feel good and you are maintaining and you're enjoying it, maybe it's not the advice that you'd give a friend if they want to learn how to fast. You probably wouldn't tell them to start with keto coffee. But if you're meeting your objectives and you're feeling good, like get rid of the guilt. I would go for it. But I wouldn't suggest people that are fasting to try keto coffee, if that makes sense. Like you've achieved what you want and now you're learning to live within it. And if it makes you feel better, just say you have a longer eating window whenever that keto coffee is there. But I wouldn't get too into the details. I would just enjoy it and see if you can still maintain. Because at some point it has to be your lifestyle and it's not about how other people would implement it. or my feelings or how I feel. The only, oh wait, I missed one. I'm sorry. I'll come back to you, Felix. On OMAD, can the meal be any meal, not always the same meal? Oh yeah, I eat different things all the time. So I will sometimes, like I recently went to breakfast with a friend. I also went to breakfast with my mom. I eat different, like the actual food choices. My dinner is different all the time. And I eat different quantities, different quality of food. Yes, it does not have to be the same meal. I don't know if you mean like, does it have to be spaghetti and garlic bread every night, that type of meal, or does it have to be dinner every night? But bottom line, no. If I want breakfast, I eat breakfast. I do my fasting math is what I call it. If I want to eat breakfast one day, I just make sure my fast ends early enough the day before, or I'll do a complete down day, and then I'll go out for breakfast with a friend. Okay, Felix asked about my feelings. I mean, no, because like days like today where I really felt hungry and I gave into that earlier than I planned on it, there are days like when that happens. But then there's other days where I feel hungry on a down day. I always feel hungry at the end of a down day. It's usually not too distracting because I'm used to it. I know why I'm doing the down day. I feel pretty convinced that it's worth doing, and I'll look forward to my up day. So I'm able to like talk myself out of those feelings. And then if I have to, sometimes I do ignore my feelings and just decide, nope, I am not gonna. I'm trying to think if there's something that I like wanted but denied myself just to be, I don't know. No, feelings aren't the only thing. If I feel extremely hungry, like I actually really think I need to eat, I will give into that because I know I'll get back into fasting and I've flexed that muscle enough. But there are times where it's just sheer willpower overriding the feelings that controls how long I fast. I haven't lost any weight yet. 3 weeks. 3 weeks is still pretty early. I just think you should keep going. I think every body is different. I didn't weigh myself for the first 4 weeks, and I did lose 4 pounds after 4 weeks. But there is so much going on. You might have body recomposition. You might be healing items. You might just be leveling out different insulin levels in your body. There's so much that could be going on. I would go off of, are you feeling well? Are you becoming adjusted? And then even if you don't see the results, I don't know if you're measuring anything or if your clothes are fitting better, but I would not give up if you feel good. Okay. It is so much longer than I told my kids I'd be on here. So I am going to have to like log off, but I'll just do one more question. Oh my gosh, there's so many more questions. I'm sorry. And balls are coming down the stairs. There's my son. Okay, I'm gonna have to get off. Let's just see. Have you ever considered a group fasting week where we can join first? That would be fun. I think we should do that. Doing a group fast. Okay, before this goes crazy with my son here, I'm thinking of pea soup. That sounds good. Oh, okay. I'm sorry, guys. I was supposed to get off at 2, but I'll be back next week. Get on early. If I missed your question, I'm really sorry. I have to go before the karate guy gets me. Can you say hi, Cal? He turned in all of his kindergarten paperwork today. I'm super proud of him. But thank you guys. I love doing this chat and I love connecting with all you guys. So I hope you have a great week. I also put a post on the community tab. I'm looking for input. So see you guys. Have a great week. There'll be a new video on Saturday. You're so weird.